Today I want to talk about organic shingles. These are shingles that weren't made properly. There were some class action lawsuits. I still see them around the Chicago area a lot. And I want to give you a little breakdown of how to spot them, why they were made that way, and what we can do to correct it. All right, Chicago, welcome back to another edition of our YouTube channel. I'm Jim from Anchor Point Roofing. Today I want to talk about organic shingles. These are shingles that weren't made properly. There were some class action lawsuits. I still see them around the Chicago area a lot. And I want to give you a little breakdown of how to spot them, why they were made that way, and what we can do to correct it. Let's jump into it real quick. What is an organic shingle? So they're asphalt shingles typically. This one picture is a little hard to tell, but you can see all these dots on them. This is what we call a 3-tab. If you look at along the ridge here, you can see where it's really messed up. This one also has a few missing shingles. Let's jump ahead to this one. This is an organic shingle too. They were made wrong, and I'll tell you a little bit why. Here's another one. The organic shingles sort of look like they've melted into place. Let me give you a little bit of history of what happens. The organic shingles, they were always kind of organic, but they changed in like 95 to 2000. They were coated with asphalt, and the interior of the shingle was made from like cellulose. Basically what I heard, it was like ground up newspaper. So people thought this would be better. It made more sense. And why it made more sense was you've got a layer in the middle of this organic material, and it was coated with asphalt products. And then 2 more layers of asphalt on that. These shingles were heavier, they were denser, and the manufacturers really thought they would perform well, especially in colder climates. That's why we still see a lot of them here in Chicago. 95 to 2005 is about when they were manufactured and brought around. People thought they were going to be great. 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 years later, they literally started absorbing water, puffing up, falling apart, just terrible. They were heavier, that's why they seemed better. More weight seems like, yeah, a heavier shingle is gonna last longer. And the fiberglass that we have now are a lot lighter. This is what it looks like. Your roof hopefully doesn't look like this, but we looked at one last week that's still organic. There's still a lot of them in the Chicago area. The colder climates is where they use them a lot more. Here's another look at it. I've seen this so many times, it's crazy, on some garage roofs. You definitely really can't even walk on this when you get up there. And these are part of the organic shingles that were supposed to be so great back then. There was kind of 3 manufacturers. A lot of the manufacturers, there was like 5 or 6 that actually, were doing the organic. The problem with some of them is they held on much longer. They were a little less expensive to make. People thought they had the great formula. Some of the manufacturers thought they had this great formula that was gonna last and endure. And so they kept making organic while all the time fiberglass was being brought into some of the other ones. Like the top 5, 7 asphalt manufacturers, there's like 8 or 9, all at some point had some version of the organic. Some just got out of it quicker, and some tried to hold on a little bit longer. Owens Corning, CertainTeed, ICO, they were all kind of the big culprits that wanted to hold on a little bit longer. Huge class action lawsuit. If your roof was installed between 95 and 2003, 2005, there's a chance you could definitely still have these organic shingles on there. And literally they just started absorbing water. What we've moved now to is fiberglass shingles. Now in the middle, they've got a fiberglass mat instead of that old newspaper, cardboard, whatever they were using and soaking in the asphalt. And it's made them more rigid, it's made them more durable, and the fiberglass just does not absorb water. Here's a few pictures of it. I want to show you quickly with my whiteboard here. A typical asphalt shingle, and I'll go into the fiberglass ones that we have today a little bit. First, what we've got is a layer in the middle where your fiberglass mat sits. Then what they do with that fiberglass mat is they soak it in an asphalt product. An asphalt, it's not a residue, but they coat both sides of that fiberglass shingle, and you got the fiberglass in the middle coated with asphalt product. Then on top, a lot of you see this from your roof, you've got it with the little granules on there. These are the little rocks that prevent oxidation, prevent UV from hitting your roof. This is the top layer that really protects your roof. Then the last layer is, it's like a polymer layer on the bottom. It's a lot more smooth, A lot of times we'll find that they have sand in it so that they don't stick together, helps them during packaging. So a lot of them are basically this 5-layer. You've got this nice fiberglass in between now, and that's how they're made. Keeps them more rigid. Asphalt doesn't absorb water. This is the model most manufacturers are using today. So what happened? How were the organic brought about? And what happened to them? So they've got the middle layer, and this middle layer is the organic fibers. From what I heard, ground up newspaper, recycled cardboard, environmentally friendly was the idea. Then you come and you coat it with the asphalt, right? Just like the fiberglass on the other side, and you've got that in the middle. Again, you've got your nice protective top here with the little granules, the little rocks. Some of them now have little copper granules that will help prevent algae, etc., etc. But I'm getting off there. And then you've got the base layer, you know, it's like a polymer with the sand so they don't all stick together. Nice and smooth on the back with tar strips. But again, what started happening in this section is about a few years later, water started permeating and getting inside of there, and the shingles just kind of puffed up. They just really acted like a sponge. So obviously wasn't good. Few of the roofing vendors said, you know, we're not doing this anymore, we're switching. But some of them were so committed, like the CertainTeed, IKO, Owens Corning, they were still kind of in it trying to make this model work, and eventually it did not. Anyway, huge class action lawsuit. That's all over now. The chance of getting any money if you do have organic shingles on your roof is probably nil. There was some things a few years ago where the insurance companies, you know, the problem with these is if you have one shingle that blows off or 2 shingles on an entire slope, you imagine trying to make a repair on those. You manipulate the shingles above it and around it to try to get that new shingle in there, and literally they just crumble and they crumble and crumble, and there's no stopping point. So insurance company comes out, they looked at it, they're like, wow, it's called repairability, and basically they're not repairable. I think I talk about it a little bit in here. Insurance approvals and that repairability word, having trouble talking today, was something that a lot of insurance companies would approve. The insurance game is changing quickly. It's been a while since this was approved. We still have had some approvals. We don't do a lot of insurance in-house here. It's just not a model that we like, and it is quickly changing. So there was a repairability issue, and sometimes you could get your shingles covered and approved for having these organic, but the class action was completely gone. Here's kind of that one more description. You know, you can see this is what we're using now. The fiberglass mat, you've got the 2 asphalt coatings there, the granule surface, and then the sanded or polymer. And this was pretty much the same manufacturing process, except right here you've got your newspaper. Newspapers are better for reading. Actually, we don't even do that much anymore, versus having them on your roof. I just don't think that's a great idea. The brand we use is Malarkey. Awesome. 2 years ago, they took us out, they took us all fishing, and we got to actually take a tour of the plant, how it's processed. Very cool trip and tour. Weren't allowed to take any pictures, very few. I have a few, but that's the process today. We're using fiberglass in between, no more organic. If you do find organic on your roof, give us a call. We can take a look. Probably there's no chance that they can be repaired. You probably are looking at a replacement. And I know I've said a couple times, but the class action, the chance of getting any money at this point is probably nil. You may have an insurance claim, but that's it. So we see these a lot. You know, as a roofer, the roof nerd, I'm driving around and I'm constantly just looking at roofs. My wife's like, stop, you're gonna run into something. It's just what I do. So I still see them a lot. They are slowly starting to be, not phased out, but they're starting to all be replaced now. So that's my take on organic shingles. If you have any, give us a call, send us a picture, have us come out and investigate at the very least. So this final picture here is actually a piece of organic shingle. So you can see how it all cracks out, and as soon as you get one little crack or compromise, it starts absorbing water like a sponge. So this used to be a shingle on someone's house. I wouldn't want that on my house, protecting my biggest investment, but that's what it looks like, and that's how the organic shingles turned out. And I think that's a pretty good reason why they're not made anymore. All right, Chicago, thank you for watching about organic shingles today. It's something I think is kind of cool. I love the history on it. If you're a homeowner looking for an honest flat roof repair company in Chicago, Anchor Point Roofing is where it's at. If you're a contractor just looking for the best materials or some advice on how to do it, give us a comment. Homeowners, give us a call or shoot us an email. Let us know your needs. Do you have organic roof on your house? Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you on the next one.